In this video, we're installing ditch lights by LasFit. In a previous video, we installed ditch lights using generic parts off of Amazon, including the light pod itself and the mounting bracket. Given my fortunate situation and having good sponsors, we're going to revisit that video using higher quality parts, including the light pod offered by LasFit and the bracket by CBI Offroad Fab. LasFit was a previous sponsor in an earlier video where we looked at their floor mats custom made for the 5th generation Toyota Rav4. They are still my primarily used floor mats for the Rav4, and if you already don't have all-weather protection, you should check them out. When it comes to aftermarket accessories you want to add to your Rav4, you'll want to have a switch relay system or a button panel system to which you can control all of your auxiliary accessories through the inside of your Rav4. In a previous video, we installed an 8-button switch panel, and I will also use that in this video. If you don't have a button panel system, I will show you how you can use LasFit's wire harness as well. It won't be the way I use it in my vehicle, but I will show you pretty much what this is all about. The LED pods by LasFit look really awesome. Definitely a big upgrade over what I was using before with the generic lights on Amazon. You have this very big, nice looking 3-inch LEDs. At the other end you have Deutsch plugs, at least I think that's how you pronounce it. It also came with the other end of it, so you could have your red and black wire exposed to connect to whatever wire system you have. I will also show you how to use their wire harness system if you want to go with this. As the product reviewer, I got clear lens, and they also do come with yellow depending on what you purchase on their website. And they come in a variety of beam types. You can get high beam driving, you can get fog lights, floodlights, or spotlights. This bracket, which holds the LED pods, will sit onto this bracket which connects to the hood. This is specifically designed for the 5th generation Toyota Rav4. If you have another vehicle, you'll want to get something else for your vehicle. But this will connect to the hood, this will connect on top, and then we will angle it such that it points in the direction that we want. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and get started with installing it onto our Rav4. The light brackets by CBI Offroad Fab come in a driver's side and a passenger side. We're going to take the driver's side and focus on the driver area. You'll see 2 bolts right here where both of these will go into both of these holes here and here. My Rav4 is equipped with hood struts that I installed in a previous video, and these hood struts are in the way of the bolt over here and over here. So we're going to have to remove the top portion of the hood strut in order to access this bolt. There's a retaining clip here that you simply pull off, and that should free this up from the top. However, you will want to install the kickstand before you remove this so it doesn't fall on you. With the hood strut out of the way, we're going to use a 12mm socket to remove both of these bolts. So we got the hood strut and the top bolt removed. We want to leave the bottom one tightly on there to hold the hood in place. And then I'm going to take the driver bracket and install the bracket behind the hood strut, at least in this case. I'm going to try to temporarily secure it in place, and then we can work on the bottom bolt next. So the bottom bolt is now removed. I'm going to install the bottom bolt behind the ditch light bracket. So I'll go ahead and tighten both of them. I'm going to make sure that this can still go in there. Yeah. So we'll come back to this hood strut. We have the bolt, we have the hood strut bracket, and then we have the ditch light bracket in that sort of sandwich order. Now we have the bracket installed, we have the hood strut also installed. We need to replace our washer fluid line as well into the clip. So that's installed onto here. Next thing I'm going to do is just make sure that the alignment between both of them are equal. So pretty much how much space is there between the hood and this bracket, and see if I need to adjust this to go more up or down. So I'm going to do this off camera. Basically it's going to be me removing both of these bolts and kind of shifting it until I like them where they are for both the driver's side and the passenger side. So the ditch lights will sit on top of here and point forward or to the side depending on how you want to mounted or what type of light you purchased. Then we're going to run the wires kind of behind the hood, tuck it behind here. Same with the passenger side. And then from under the hood, the lights will travel down somewhere along here and then into my button panel switch. The part coming from the passenger side, we'll need to run it, and we're going to run it behind this wire cover over here. I have the relay switch button wire running behind here. Then I have high gauge wire running to my amplifier that I no longer have installed, but I still have the wire running through. LasFit did give us a very long bolt to use. They don't know what sort of system we're going to install it on, so they give us something that's widely usable. We have a split washer, we have another washer, and then we have the nut itself. So we're going to put these guys from the bottom through the hole and then into here. And then we can use a 9/16 or 14 millimeter wrench or socket to install this. We need to install it from the bottom, or tighten it from the bottom. That's that installed. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the light and we'll install that next. For the install of the light, we're going to use the sort of bolts that they gave us. There's also a split washer and a smaller washer as well that we'll also use to secure this. And then we're going to use an Allen key to tighten it down. Do the same thing on the other side. So that's that installed. I'll probably tighten it down a little bit more later, but here it is sort of facing forward. On the other end, we have this wire, the Deutsch wire, Deutsch connector. At least I think that's what it's pronounced. So we'll connect the other end of this and then into our relay panel. Here's the cable that they included. This will plug into here, and then we'll go on the underside and connect this to the fuse box. So you can have the hood fully lifted and it will still not interfere with any other parts of the vehicle. So here's our light, or the wire from the light, and this is going to go into the relay fuse panel. I will need to connect this and the one in the passenger side together to the same fuse spot because I want to press one button to turn them both on. But in here, we'll basically try to run the wire from under. It doesn't seem like it's going to be long enough to do this properly, so I'm probably going to use some wires to extend from here into here. I will have to do it anyway for the passenger side. So let me go ahead and install the bracket on the passenger side, and then we'll come back to this step. So right now we have both of the pods installed. The wire length of this is barely reaching the relay box. The wire of this will definitely not reach. So I am considering using the wire harness that they did give me just to get the wire into here, not to actually use the relay or the switch that they gave us. This is the wire harness that they gave us. It is a ton of wire. It will be very good for big vehicles. So here are the two Deutsch connectors that would connect to the light pods. And then these all come down and connect to this relay. This relay is connected to the battery with a fuse on the red side. And then it's connected to a button that you would have inside of your vehicle to click to turn on the light whenever you want. This basically sends a low current circuit to the relay so that the relay can act as a switch to the lights. That way you don't have high amperage current running inside of your vehicle. It all stays outside of the cabin. So you would connect this to the battery, you would secure this somewhere and keep it in one location, and then you would try to fish this wire all the way inside of your vehicle. So they do offer you to split or separate this, but this is still not enough to pass it through the firewall. So you would have to find a way to remove these pins and then fish it through the firewall and then reinstall the pins. There's not something I'm going to go in this vehicle, but basically there's a little like a retaining clip inside of here that you press upwards, and then you can remove each of the three wires individually, run it through the firewall, a lot easier that way, and then you can reconnect it back together. So this would be inside of your cabin somewhere near the driver's seat where you can press to activate the lights. What I'm going to do is connect this to the light pod and then run the wire all the way down to my switch box, and then I'm going to cut the wire and use that point to connect to my switch panel. So I'm going to connect this to the passenger side and then run it across and down here, and then I'll cut the wire at that location. I cut the wire right here. I'm going to go ahead and peel this layer off using some of the tools that I have available for me. So here's your two wires. Then I'm going to strip these wires as well. So there's your exposed copper wires. And then I will connect this to the fuse box at the same spot that I'm going to connect the driver's side to as well, so that with one switch they will both activate. The driver's side is also not long enough, so I'm going to do the same thing as well. Plug in for my wire harness, get enough length, and then I'll cut it and plug it in. We have exposed copper from the passenger side. We have exposed copper from the driver's side. I'll sort of match both of these together and connect it inside of the fuse box. This is a bunch of Ferrule, I forgot what they're called, but I'm going to put both of my wire leads in here, and then I'm going to crimp it together, and then that should secure it quite well. Good. Then we'll be able to go from under here up. That way we can put our cap on, and then I'll install it inside one of these slots. The wires from each of the ditch lights are run together into my fuse panel box. So I have it taped up over there, running behind this sort of shield. And then I have it taped up in a couple areas over here. The wires themselves come from under, inside of this opening. Then they are connected together. You can see two wires on the red, and can kind of see two black wires. They are crimped together into this opening slot, the positive and negative over here to this fuse. So two wires, two red wires, basically one red wire from here and then one red wire from there, same with the black. They're merged together into here. We'll be able to put this cover back on, and then that completes the entire install of this. So all we have to do is check that it works and enjoy the light. The ditch lights by LasFit is fully waterproof. You can remove the lens cover to install a yellow lens if you want by using two Allen keys in this location. You have the LasFit logo over here. It doesn't stand out too much, it's very subtle. There's a lot of heat sinks in the back to dissipate the heat that's generated off of this. You can adjust the angle of this as well by loosening these bolts on both sides and then angle it up and down. And then you can also angle this entire unit by loosening the bolt down here. This bolt over here is not visible at all from most angles, so I will probably not make any changes to this. It doesn't stand out or bother me at all. But overall, this is a very nice LED pod for any vehicle. We'll put the car in accessory mode, and then that will light up my button panel. I have grill lights right now. I believe this is the one that I installed it on, so I'll go ahead and press this button. That will light up, and we'll go outside and take a look. Yeah, so it is very bright. Don't want to look directly at it. So those are on, and these are on. It's gonna be really nice at night. Here's another shot with the ditch lights on, going through some overgrowth in our neighborhood. My ditch lights are floodlights, so depending on the beam pattern you purchase, you can expect different results. This is the sort of visibility you can expect with unmodified headlights for the Rav4. Here it is with the fog lights turned on. My fog lights are upgraded with the diode dynamics. Here we are with high beams. And then I'll turn the high beams off and I'll turn fog lights off. And then here we are with the ditch lights on. These are floodlights. The LasFit lights are really bright, as you can see. That is everything you need to know about the 3-inch LED pods by LasFit for your 5th generation Toyota Rav4 or any vehicle for that matter. They come in a variety of beam patterns and 2 lens colors, clear and yellow, depending on your application. They are very solid in its construction. They are waterproof, as we've had a lot of rain and I've seen no issues with it. The wiring is also solid and appropriately sized for the wattage that it consumes. And if you want, you can get the wire harness to install it as well, although I would recommend getting a switched panel system instead. If you're interested in this product, I'll leave a link in the description section for you to check out, and be sure to also check out their all-weather floor mats for your RAV4. It is a must-have accessory for all vehicles.